So here we have the tree set up, ready to work on. It's nicely firm, it's not going anywhere. The first step is to mark off roughly the edges of the body that's inside here. So when we cut away the waste, we're getting closer and closer to the final figure inside. And we'll start off with a lot of space. So here is going to be one hand. And at the moment I'm not sure whether the hand's going to be like this or like this. So we need to leave enough space. And also I'm not sure until I start digging in where the interesting grains are and where the points of weakness, where there's cracks and things are. You can only find that when you start taking away the waste. So these lines here, we've got the face here. We're going to have the hair sweeping up in a really interesting energetic swirl up towards the very top of the tree there. And the main body you can see coming down here with a nice curve on it. This foot is actually stepping forwards. It's going to be lower than the other foot, which is giving another dynamic movement into it, that she's almost coming out of the tree like that at you, rather than just standing in a very rigid position. This lump here is going to be one arm, which is coming up either like this or like this. Another thing that will evolve as I work with it. It's an interactive thing between me and the tree and the model. So things will change, and it's a question of having the skill to take off enough, but not too much, to allow the best to come out of it. So you can just see these marks here, which are just made very crudely to start with a big piece of chalk. I use different colours as well, so that I can start off with one, and then if I decide I want to change it, like this position here I've brought a bit higher, because when I was working from the side I could see the legs needed to be a bit longer. And you can do that when you use different colours. But enough talking, time to cut. Yeah, this is just getting the lines, the heights.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking them back from here, but just to make it a bit easier, I'm using a spirit level, so I can actually see that I'm taking a straight line back rather than going up there and then down there. But I've actually done it pretty. The lines that I had already put on, just using a little stick, are actually pretty much in the right place anyway. So the outside of your shoulder. The grain of the wood is going to be going like this, probably, although we don't know that, I'm just assuming it is. So we'll be cutting across the grain. If cat's leg's going at an angle like that, rather than going straight up and down, we need to be aware that we're possibly weakening it there. And all of the weight of the sculpture is going on her two ankles. The fact that they're braced, there's one behind and in front, probably means it's okay. But that's something we need to make sure we've taken account of.
So the alternative is like that?
This is the alternative, which isn't as good a pose from the point of view of it having a nice flowing line to it.
Is the coffee cup going to be in the sculpture, Pete?
Well, not at the moment. We have got the idea this possibly might turn into a bird.
Oh, right, okay.
And we might have a... that hand has to go out like that.
Oh,
this,
yeah. Can't just be
this hand has... Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Oh, that's very Egyptian or
Is it?
Romanesque sort of thing.
Oh, that's what we're trying to avoid though.
But maybe if you put that foot forward, is it the other foot? Is it that foot? It's that foot, isn't it? Yeah.
Have we gone pagan yet?
When it's a bird, it's pagan. If you have that hand up, then you pretty much, yeah. So that hand does have to.
Come back a little.
Well, see, the grain is going that way. So having your fingers out like that is good grain-wise. If they're going upwards, then that's weak. So I think it, you know, just so long as we can actually have that. What shall I measure from the outside of your fingers to? I suppose it can be that nearest one.
What about putting a plethora of animals on me? Could have a snake in this hand.
No, I think the snake should be curling up your leg.
That could be cool. Or field mice in my hair. Or maybe a little owl like coming through a hole in my hair. Could be quite nice.
Yeah. And a parrot on your shoulder.
I don't know about that.
An owl on your shoulder.
I think it would have to be native British wildlife.
Yeah,
maybe.
okay. So an owl on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Or a wren.
Or a van, yeah.
Wrens are beautiful. It would be a nice little thing to have somewhere. So I'm measuring out here. I'm doing the lower leg, which I've been working on the top before. So I'm getting this nice curve here of the thigh and the, what's that bit called? That's not the thigh, it's the glute.
That's the glute. That's the... what is that?
Triceratops.
Quad?
Quadriceps.
Is it a quad?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I'm coming down to the knee and making sure the knee's in the right position. Because that's quite important to have the knee right. And then that back leg is going quite straight then down.
I'm worried about the risk of the statue toppling over.
Oh,
Especially
right.
if it's got this big hairdo.
But it's got this massive piece of wood sticking out the front, so it could only fall over sideways.
There's still a risk that it could.
You know, unless it was actually physically attached to the ground. Anything that isn't attached to the ground can fall over.
But it'll be balanced. Well,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
I think we'll make sure it is, yeah.
So the front foot will act as a counterweight for the big hairdo.
Yes, yes it will do, won't it? Yeah. Although that is coming sideways more than backwards.
Yeah. I really like the idea of the snake going up the leg, because then you know how you said it's heaven and earth?
Mm.
If you've got the bird getting ready
Oh,
to
that's
fly
true.
off, and then you've got the snake connecting to the earth.
Mm. Yeah, that's an
Quite
interesting
symbolic.
one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So today's challenge is to rough out the legs, which I'm quite worried about because it's the ankles are very thin. If you get them in the wrong place, you can't really go back. But it needs to be done. So that's the challenge of the day.
What is your overall plan at the moment then?
To get it all into the roughed out stage. At the moment you can see the head, you can see the shoulder, the two arms, but you can't see what's happening with the legs. So once I've got the legs to this first stage of the rough shape, then I'll go back to the top half and start to get some definition in where the actual arms are, maybe where the face is looking, how the top body is, and then that'll bring the legs into it. So I probably the feet will be where I finish. That's a great relief that I've oversized it, because otherwise it was going to look completely wrong. Because that arm is pretty much going out at sort of sideways, not going down enough. It's actually horizontal.